Hey there, it's Jessica Coulter, the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. Today I wanted to talk to you all about the different types of sentences and how to identify them, as well as some examples. So we'll go over the types of sentences in the next slide. Righty. There are 4 types of sentences. We have declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. And I hope you're ready to learn all about these different types of sentences and what to look for, as well as see some examples and then take a couple quizzes over these types of sentences. So let's move on. Okay, so the first type of sentence I want to tell you about are called declarative sentences. And the way I remember this is you're declaring something. So you're making a statement about something. That's what declare means. And then something else to think about is declarative sentences always end in a period. So that is the grammatical marking, the punctuation you are looking for. And if I've got some younger listeners, then a period is what you see on that second bullet point. That's that little dot. That's between the two C's or the boomerangs, whatever you want to call them. So now that we know what a declarative sentence is, let's look at some examples. So the first one is, he always drinks milk with lunch on the plane. And then the second one is, I'm not good at making paper airplanes. So I try to choose a theme for this PowerPoint just for some fun. So we'll talk all about planes. And hopefully you notice in these two sentences, we end in a period, and then we're not making any strong emotions. We're not commanding anyone to do anything. We're not asking any questions, anything like that. All we're doing is we're making some statements and kind of telling a story or sharing some facts, something like that. So let's go ahead and move on. Hey there, just wanted to stop for a moment and check in. Hope everything's making sense so far. Wanted to thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're looking for some more tutorials like this, or maybe some daily updates in your news feed, as well as find out what all Ace Cookie Tutoring is up to, we'd love to have you as a follower on Facebook. You can go to that link on your screen, www.facebook.com/Ace Cookie Tutoring, and click the follow button. And we would love to see you there and keep you in the loop and spoil you with some follower-only specials. Alrighty, I hope you're ready for sentence type number 2, which is imperative. Now this one is a little harder for some kiddos, so hopefully this one's easy for you. An imperative sentence always gives a command. So if your mom tells you to sit down, if the teacher asks you to turn in your homework, or maybe your little sister is telling you to be quiet, whatever, as long as there's a command, it's an imperative sentence. Now something important to notice here, the subject of an imperative sentence is always you. So you won't see the word you, and you won't see anybody's name or a noun or a pronoun, which is a subject. You just have to know it's an implied you. Now, another tricky part about imperative sentences, they can end in periods or exclamation points. Okay, so you kind of have to keep your eye out. So let's look at some examples. So the first one is sit in your assigned seat. So you notice it doesn't say you sit, it doesn't say Joey sit, it doesn't say the boy sits, nothing like that. It just gives a command, which is to sit, and you have to know who it's referring to by implying the word you. So here's another example. Don't ask the flight attendant to get up early. So if you've ever been on a plane, everyone tries to get off the plane as fast as possible. So they're all trying to stand up, they're all trying to get their luggage and get off the plane. So a second example is saying, don't do that. So let's move on to the next type of sentence. I hope you've got declarative and imperative down. Okay, so the next type of sentence is called interrogative. And if you are good with your vocab, hopefully you realize interrogative is kind of similar to the word interrogate. And if you like your cop shows as much as I do, you know an interrogation means someone is being asked questions. So that's a good way to remember interrogative. So whenever we see a question mark at the end of the sentence, there's a really good chance, pretty much for sure, that it's going to be an interrogative question or type of sentence. So our first example, how fast can the plane travel? And the next example, why does a plane make my ears pop? Okay, so both of these are questions. We can't make these into statements, so for declarative, and we can't make them into commands, so they have to have question marks, so they have to be interrogative sentence types. Okay, so we are ready for the last type of sentences, and those are exclamatory sentences. And these are all about strong emotions. And that can be something where someone's really happy, somebody's really sad, or maybe we're even so happy we're excited. So those are all examples of strong emotions. Now, exclamatory sentences, you can identify these by looking for an exclamation point. So whenever we see an exclamation point, there's a really good chance it's exclamatory, but remember, imperative sentences can also end in exclamation points. So you got to be ready for either one, so make sure you pay attention to the subject to see if the subject is you, so it's imperative, or if it's in the sentence. Now something else, a way to remember exclamatory, so just like interrogative, we had interrogate. Well, if you exclaim something, so that usually means you're yelling, you're shouting, you're being kind of loud, you're exclaiming, then that is a good way to remember exclamatory. So let's look at some examples. The first one is, we're going on a vacation in a month. So this person is really excited. Now notice it doesn't give a command, so it's not an imperative. And then the next example, John's plane is faster than Jane's. So it's making a statement, but look, it ends in an exclamation point, so it has to be exclamatory, not declarative. So that is the wrap up for all 4 types of sentences. Now let's go ahead and put your newfound knowledge to the test. So before we start working on the quizzes, just want to let you know we do make tutorials just like this one for other subjects as well. So maybe once you get this down, you now need some help with math or science, or maybe you've got an older brother working on the ACT, or one of your parents, or even another sibling or a friend is working on a paper. Whatever it is, we've made a tutorial about it, or we would gladly make one. So check out that link on your screen, acecookie-tutoring.com/tutorial, and you'll see a bunch of different tutorials available that are free for you to watch. So let's go ahead and move on to that first quiz. All right, so we've gone over all the types of sentences now, and you know what to look for to identify the 4 types of sentences. So these first 2 quizzes are going to give you a sentence, and then you're going to decide what type of sentence it is. And then we're going to do a couple more questions where you have to decide which sentence of your options is going to match the sentence type in the question. So I know you can do this. So this first example sentence is, don't forget your suitcase. So what type of sentence is that? So think about it for a second. Decide if it's a question, decide if there's strong emotion, decide if there's a command, or lastly, decide if it's declaring something. So I'm going to give you a count of 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say your answer. Hopefully you said imperative. So imperative because it's giving a command, and you'll notice we've got an exclamation point there at the end. So if that threw you off when you went exclamatory, just remember there's no subject here. You have to imply the word you. So let's go ahead and try quiz number 2. Okay, so quiz number 2 is similar to quiz number 1 because we have an example sentence, and then we have to decide what type of sentence it is. So example sentence is, where are the instructions for the life vest? So I'll give you a hint. It's not going to be an imperative sentence. And I'll give you another hint. Look at the end punctuation mark. So this one we're going to do a little shorter. On the count of 5, make sure you say your answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is Interrogative. So we see a question mark, so we know it's an interrogative sentence. Okay, so we've got two more questions to go over, and both of these are going to ask for a sentence type, and then you have to choose which of the options is that type of sentence. So the first option here is give me a blanket, please. And the second option is I want a blanket. So the question is asking which is a declarative sentence. So decide what declarative sentences must have. Think about what they shouldn't have. And on the count of 5, say your answer out loud. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The right answer is B, the second option. So if you said your answer on 5, great. I should have done it backwards. So thanks so much for bearing with me. But if you got B, give yourself a pat on the back. We've just got one more question to go over. Alrighty, so let's finish up our plain presentation. In question number 4, quiz 4, it says, which is an exclamatory sentence? So we have, I'm scared the plane will crash, or cars get into more accidents than planes. So think about it again, exclamatory, what happens when you exclaim something, and should you have a period or an exclamation point? So here we go. In 1, 2, 3, are you ready? 4, 5. Say it out loud. Is it C or D? And it is C. An exclamatory sentence is C because of strong emotions about being scared, and we have the exclamation point. So there you go. You made it through all 4 quizzes. Way to go. Well, thanks so much, guys, for listening to this presentation. I hope you guys are masters now when it comes to sentence types. Yet, if you're looking for some more help, some maybe one-on-one help in person or through Zoom online, you can schedule a lesson on our website at acecookie-tutoring.com/book-online. We'd love to work with you or your student on writing some example sentences or maybe working on some homework or an activity that identifies those types of sentences. And we do have some paid resources available as well. Those are also on our website at a different link, acecookie-tutoring.com/shop. So if you're looking for some more practice with these, we would gladly create some worksheets and activities for you if they're not already there. And finally, maybe you're not a Facebook person, but you'd still like to be in the know and keep up to date with Ace Cookie Tutoring. Feel free to join our email list. Just send us an email to acecookie-tutoring@gmail.com. Just say, hey, Jessica, I want to be on your list, and we'll start sending you our monthly newsletter, and you'll get the monthly coupons ahead of time, as well as some more free resources and all sorts of other goodies. So thanks so much, guys, for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.